Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. Welcome, guys. Wednesday, December 16th. We're getting ready for a hell of a weekend for myself, man, because I got to head out of here tomorrow, man. My weekend starts tomorrow.
That's right.
Actually, I got to do SmackDown this weekend, actually talking smack, which is going to be real cool. I'm looking forward to it. Last time, we didn't get a chance to talk a whole lot of smack. And my thing is this: if you're gonna bring Booker T on talking smack, if it ain't no smack talking, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm just gonna just mute my mic, okay? Just mute my mic, because I'm looking to get into it with somebody. I'm looking to find some dirt to pull out. I'm looking to get under somebody's skin because it's all about the talent, man. It's all about going out there and producing with me. And if I got somebody on the show, I'm going to tell you right now, if your ass ain't producing, get ready to get grilled by Booker T on Friday night talking smack. Trust me on that.
Oh, I know last time, both on and off there, you were telling me, you're like, man, I'm going to start something. Somebody's going to get told off. Right?
Yeah,
and I feel like you wanted to a couple times, right? There were a few people you really wanted to tell them. Do you know who's on the show with you this week?
No, I don't. I'm going to send in early and see if I can get a some kind of itinerary as far as who's going to be on the show. Can I get my notes together and get my thoughts together as far as what I really want to talk about, because I really think talking smack, I'm gonna put it out there right now. I really think talking smack could be the show that people want to watch and tune into. People really want to sink their teeth into. But for me, like I say, there again, you made the call. You called me. I didn't call you. So understand, when I come on talking smack, I'm looking to get into it with someone as far as what they bring to the table. What they've been serving to the people. What is it like, being at the bottom rung, of the ladder when you're perhaps one of the best guys on the roster. See, that's why I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I want to talk about guys that's getting the push. Why are you getting the push? You ain't done nothing. You know what I mean? I got to really get deep into everything that's going on if I'm going to be on talking smack. I do think I'm going to be flanked by Paul Heyman, which is always good. Paul Heyman is a guy that's gonna he's gonna be able to follow, and I'm not gonna have to tell him anything, as well as I'll be able to follow. He's not gonna have to tell me anything. But he's gonna know exactly what the end goal is. The end goal. I was just talking to just last week on my wrestling 101 class about the word promo. You got to understand what it means in order to be able to find, exactly how it works.
Well, and Paul Heyman, when we talk about promos, one of the best ones, and a great anchor for talking smack. I know this one. I didn't plan to get into this early, but did you see his interaction with Big E on last week's Talking Smack?
You know what? I didn't see it. I'm gonna go back and look at it, but I heard about it. Tell me about it. Give me
He essentially told Big E, he said, the potential that you have, 10 years from now, You'll have every championship in the world if you just want to stay on that path. And he also said the New Day part of your career will be a footnote when the story of Big E is told. He said, "When's the last time you went to you saw Roman Reigns in the main event and somebody brought up the Shield?" So they don't do it anymore. It's about Roman Reigns. The Shield is a footnote in his career. He was saying that the New Day will be a footnote in the career of Big E, which I thought that was a really actually interesting take, because the New Day 6 years, 7 years, whatever their run's been, pretty substantial. But I don't know. What do you think of those comments?
I could agree to disagree in certain aspects. It could be a footnote. That's what I would. That's what I would say. It could be a footnote. I wouldn't say it would be or will be. And I say that's going to be all up to Big E, and if he can be able to go out there and what I like to the word I like to use is adapt. To whatever situation that you're in, you got to be able to adapt. And I learned that just in life, coming up as a kid, being able to adapt because certain things didn't fall my way and I had to kind of like figure it out. And that's what Big E is right now. He's in a place where he has to figure it out. Of course, he can always rely back on the New Day and what he did with the New Day, and perhaps it'll work for him, but it's only going to work so far as him making it to that next tier. So yeah, I agree with Paul Heyman, but more importantly, I say that Big E is going to have to be the one to create that footnote.
Yeah, no, it's definitely up to him, but I think it is an interesting comment because in some regard, it happens to anybody who's coming out of a great faction or a great team. It always happens, right? I mean, you mentioned the Four Horsemen when you talk about Ric Flair, but it's not the main part of Ric Flair's career, right? You mentioned DX when you talk about Shawn Michaels, but it's not the main thing you think of when you think of Shawn Michaels. You mentioned Harlem Heat, right? But is that what people think of when they see Booker T? I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
that it comes to them eventually, but it's not the first 3 or 4 things I'm saying about Booker T. So Big E is in that position, just like Roman. It's just a matter if he capitalizes on it. But I thought it was an interesting point.
No, man, and that's exactly what I'm talking about as far as talking smack. These are the interesting topics that people really want to, bite into and really say, hey, man, what are you going to do? Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Are you going to, you're going to, follow that same, path that you've been going on? Are you going to, break out and become something special, become something very, very unique? Something that's what they look at as a trendsetter, a trailblazer. That's what I'm thinking about. And yeah, I think Big E has all the tools, man, to be one of those guys. And the thing is, I said it from the beginning, didn't I? I said it from the beginning. I'm one of the first guys to say, Big E was a guy that had world championship potential. Even when he was with the New Day, I say the rest of them guys, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Tim Suckers, you know what I mean? Kofi, he had his run. X, you know what I mean? He's a good wingman. He's a good hype man. He's like Flavor Flav. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, boy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He know how to get the party going. He get the trombone out. He know how to get that. You know what I mean? But as far as a guy that could step into that stratosphere, of world heavyweight championship, not just run, but reigns, a guy that, have multiple runs, in that position, a guy that carry it, and people don't say he just won the championship. And I'm not speaking to anybody in particular or anything, but they say, man, he carried the championship. It's a difference. It's a big difference. You know what I mean? I won the championship, but then had the opportunity to carry it many, many times, and that goes back, and I wouldn't say goes back, but goes down in the history of annals of time.
You did carry the title. You definitely did. You had to carry it and not just win it. So it is interesting, and I want. We have a lot more to talk about in this show. By the way, Booker T, this is show 200 for the Hall of Fame. Overall,
Yeah,
if you include the old show, this is our 400th episode.
Man, that's why I got the stash all right for this show, man. I said I'm gonna make sure I get the stash right. I'm talking about, for your eyes only style today for the show. I said because it's special. You know what I mean? In memory of James Bud. You know what I mean? I said I'm gonna make sure I get the mustache looking real good, even though he didn't have a mustache. But I said I got to make it look right. But yeah, man, 200, man, it's huge, man. It's huge to have been able to pull something off like this, more importantly than anything, man, and to have had so much fun along this ride. We've been doing it, man. We've been doing it, and the thing is, it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the thing is, man, 2021, man, is upon us. 2021, man, is upon us. So I tell you, man, I must say it's been a pleasure to have done 400 straight shows with you, bro. It's been on.
Yeah, well, the honor is all mine, obviously, Book. And what I think is really cool is that we've had so much history on air, especially together, that I have selected 3 categories, though, from this show, from the history of the Hall of Fame, the 200 episodes. And we're going to select 3 key inductees into this show's Hall of Fame. There's going to be, and here's the thing, the people who are watching the chat are going to vote on this. The 3 categories are going to be the Hall of Fame phrase. A lot of phrases have been coined on this show. The Hall of Fame interview. A lot of great interviews that we've had. And my favorite of the 3 categories that we're going to crown at the end of the show, the Hall of Fame feud. We've had a lot of great feuds throughout our history.
Oh, man, I already know that. I know the winner already. That one right there.
And we have 6 nominees for, I think, feud. We have 6 nominees for interview, and then 4 phrases that we're going to crown. One of each of them will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So stick around at the end of the show.
Stick around, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We back, man. We back. Like I say, man, I got a long weekend upon me. Like I say, Talking Smack coming up on Friday night. Of course, TLC going down this Sunday night as well. Looking forward to being there. Man, I just love being around the talent, man. I love still being around the business, but in moderation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I want to be there on a weekly, 3, 4, 5 days out of the week or anything like that on the road, house shows or anything like that. But to be still a part of the show, man, and to be able to spit some knowledge. Because one thing about me, man, you can rest assured that I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm not going to be hiding anything. I'm not going to be one of those guys there again that's going to be passive, looking for someone to, hey, man, we're friends here. It ain't about being friends, man, right now. It's about trying to, see exactly what's up. When we go there, it's as real as it possibly can be. I'm serious, man. I'm serious about that. What's on your mind, man? You see like you got on your mind.
I don't know. You just like when you get into your promo bag, right? We start promoting. And the thing is, I think that it's cool that you continually have found your lane, right? When you always say to the students at reality wrestling, know your role and play it, right?
Yeah, play your role. You know what? The Rock going the phrase, know the role and know your role and shut your mouth. I'm serious. I mean, you know what? He was literally that was a gimmick. That was a work, but in actuality, it was a shoot. That was a shoot to some of the guys in the back. Bruh, know your role and shut your mouth. All right? And if you can't do those two things, you know what I mean, it's going to be a problem. But go ahead, not to cut you off.
No. But you hit it right on the head of what I was talking about. Of just of finding your lane, knowing your role, right? And the way that do you like? Let me ask you this: do you like the way that you're used now in wrestling? Because the chat has already said, WWE isn't the same without you in the ring and stuff like that. Do you like your current role, or did he still have that a little?
Look, man. Look.
Itch.
We're going to be talking about some of these guys, but the skills diminish. Over time, man. I mean, I still, look like I can go out there and do it, but I had a 86 Z28, and I'm telling you, man, on the outside, it looked great. The rims, everything shining, you know what I mean? But under the seat, it was a rust spot where the seat was about to fall to the floor. You know what I'm saying? I had to get it reinforced and whatnot over a period of time and whatnot, under the hood, things didn't move the way they did, once upon a time. But that's just the way life is. And my thing is, I never wanted the fans to see the diminished skills of Booker T in the ring. I just didn't. I wanted people to remember me the way they saw me do it at the best of my ability on all occasions. So for me, I don't. But first part of the question, as far as the way I'm used now, man, I love it, man. I love being able to come in and talk about it and be able to, really, spit some science to these young guys as far as, man, look, if you want to make it to the next level, look, this is what you need to do. The ones that want to hear that, the ones that don't want to hear it, I'm really not interested in talking to them. But the ones that's interested in hearing, what I got to do to make it to the next level, I'm going to talk to them. Guys like, just say, for instance, like Cesaro. Cesaro is one of my favorite people. And, he would always, after, one of his matches, he may, have felt a certain way. I don't know if he did or not, but if I saw him, I would make it a point to go up to him and say, "Hey, bro, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Cream rise to the top." You know what I mean? Stay injury free. Don't get hurt. You know what I mean? I say, win by attrition. You know what I mean? I would do that, not for me, but for him. You know what I mean? So, and then a guy like Cesaro, he's always going to say, Book was, the guy that was in my corner. All of these guys, they're gonna say Book was the guy that was in my corner. The Miz, he gonna say Book was the guy that was, they used one that was always I could always talk to. So for me to be doing what I'm doing now is no different what I've done, the whole time. Spitting knowledge, man, trying to get these young guys the game to come up, to go out and be special and do it a different way, even though the different way is just old school, going out there and giving the fans a way of feeling when they walk away from that arena and they go, man, I cannot wait to get back and see it again, man. So that's my thing, man. That's my thing is I'm loving where I'm at right now.
Do you think, though, I mean, I remember we talked to the Miz or he was doing some show. I think it was on this show. Yeah, we had him on this show. And he was, yeah, and he was talking about how, you were the guy in the locker room that actually was rooting for him the entire time and giving him that game, trying to get him to the next level. Do you think that you're
McIntyre as well.
But even when McIntyre was there in 2010, I think is right when he started to come around, that's when you came back and you were still in the locker room, right? You're still there weekly. Now that you're not there weekly and you're not in the locker room, do you feel that maybe your presence is missed whenever you maybe impart some of that wisdom and advice via this show, right? Because over the last few months, some of the gems that you've dropped have been taken the wrong way. Do you think it's because you're not there in the locker room?
No, that's not what it is, man. I just think the game has changed, man. The young guys look at the game a whole lot differently now. I don't think I would work out in the locker room today. Actually, it would definitely.
Really?
I will probably clash with a lot of the guys, just because I don't agree with a lot of the the work that's going on in the ring. I don't agree with a lot of the work ethic, that's brought to the table today. I just don't, and people could take that and they could say whatever they want and make whatever they want out of it. But some guys have work ethic and they go out there and, they study it. But it's a term, that's called like calling it in, phoning it in.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys phone it in, you know what I mean? And I was never the guy that phoned it in. I was the guy that always wanted to be remembered, with the greatest wrestlers that ever put on a pair of boots. So when I look at certain guys and the work that they put in to perfect their craft, I go, okay, all right, I see something here. And I'm not shy to say, when I see a guy, that's putting in the time and actually, he's coming up and the change is actually being made from my vision, from my perspective,
Right.
not anybody else's. I would say, yeah, man, this guy, he's coming up. I'm going to give him props. I give guys props when they deserve it. But sometimes, when I watch a lot of it, is stuff that needs to be worked on, and maybe nobody is telling them.
What's interesting too is and the thing is, sometimes people aren't told the truth by the fans, right? Because what you see and what a fan sees are completely different, right? You're looking for the actual mechanics of how you do this thing properly. A fan just looks at sometimes a flashy move and they don't really appreciate how hard it really can be. It's like when I go to the art museum and I see a Picasso. Everyone thinks this when they see a painting, they go, oh, I could paint that, right? Right?
Yeah.
You think, oh, I could draw that. That doesn't look that hard. And then you try to do it, and you're like, oh, there's actually like a real technique and skill and talent that's needed to do this effectively. So the people who are the craftsmen like yourself, they see it. But I'm always reminded of one time. It was right when I started reality wrestling. We had a guy there for a while, Paul Cook, right? And I would sit next to Paul throughout the shows. And it was my first or second show there. There was a match that happened, and it wasn't the greatest of matches in the world. And he said, that match was the S's, right? You know what I'm saying? That match was the S's. And I looked at him and I said, I thought it was pretty good. And he looked at me, he goes, that's because you know nothing about wrestling. right. But he was saying something that was real, right? At the time, I didn't know, a headlock from a wristwatch at the time, right? But I couldn't see it through the prism of what he was viewing the work from. So it's interesting to hear you say the work and the work ethic of people today, even though they might be praised by the online community, you see something that isn't there that could get them to the next level, right?
Oh, man. Right? Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on there. And the thing is, man, it's all going to be small, little bitty things, man. It's all going to be stuff that, you learn within inside that 5 minute of context of going out and, just trying to feel what it's supposed to be like, how it's supposed to feel. And the walk out to the ring, the anticipation of the opponent making the walk as well. What is this thing going to look like? Yeah, I remember, just like, working with the Undertaker, and I've seen other guys work with the Undertaker, and when the Undertaker would come to the ring, I would have a look on my face like no other guy. It was a look of anticipation, but unwanted anticipation, and it was a look of fright, but scared at the same time, and it was not for anything other than to create the magic and the aura of the walk of the Undertaker, and as soon as he got in the ring, I would exit stage left just for a moment, just to give him the ring. That's the performance. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with my man Brad Gilmore. Hey, man, I want to before we move a little bit further, I want to say, man, I'm wishing a speedy recovery to my friend Ken Kershaw. He fell and he paralyzed himself from the waist down, and I'm just praying to God every day, and I'm thinking about you, Ken. Get yourself together, man, and I'm thinking about a speedy recovery here. I'm sending prayers out on a regular, man. So I just want to say that before we moved on.
Ken Kershaw's actually a guy who's been on this show before. Golf pro. I think we played around with him. So I hate him. This is the first time I heard that. So speedy recovery, prayers and well wishes, obviously, to Ken and everybody around him. And wow, that's awful.
I just found out yesterday, and so I sent him a text message. He responded back to me immediately, and I just want to say, man, I'm praying for you. I love you, brother. But moving on, man. Moving on. I was just reading today early. What's that?
Well, I also real quick, speaking of somewhat sad news that we didn't cover when we did our live stream on Saturday, and then for those of the fans who listen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 on Monday night, Tiny Lister actually passed away.
Yeah.
A man who you know as Debo, or for wrestling fans, he played Zeus in No Holds Barred, and he actually wrestled in the main event of SummerSlam with Macho Man and Hogan and all those guys. He left us. He passed with COVID-related illness. Is what was his demise. But one of the iconic actors, really, of my generation. Friday is a movie that when I was growing up, you had to have seen, and everybody knew who Debo was and Big Worm and all those guys. And I didn't even know that he was a wrestler, or had wrestled, I should say,
right,
until much later. I was like, oh, he was in what?
Yeah.
And I figured it all out. That Debo was actually a wrestler. But rest in peace to Tiny Lister. Did you ever meet him or know him at all?
Nah, man, I never met him, man. I never, I wasn't in the WWE at the time he came through, so totally different era, Hogan and whatnot. But
I feel like you may have run into him somewhere at a convention or something like that. But
yeah. Man, you know what? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. But sometimes, sometimes, man, I'd be a little bit out of it. Let's just say that. But no, man, I was reading earlier. The Charlie Haas, man, he's made a return back to the business. Shelton Benjamin's old partner, world's greatest tag team. I think that's what they used to call themselves.
There he is, yes.
He made a return back to the ring, and he was talking with I think Hannibal, and he's saying that he's divorced now from his wife, former wife, Jackie Gator, and that's the thing, man. You get married, man, and you got kids, and next thing you know, you get divorced. Man, I can't even imagine going through something like that with Charmel, man. I'm serious, man. I mean, and the thing is, when I the video that I was, looking at, it looked like he had gone through it as well, from just being stretched out. You know what I mean? Yeah. He had lost a little bit of weight and whatnot. But I don't. That could be just because he's trying to lose weight. But you go through something like that, marriage, I think, like I said, I think he got 3-4 kids with her, and then it just falls apart, and you got to find yourself, pick yourself up, get back on your feet, and go through that dating scene all over again. I can't even imagine going through something like that, man. I can't. I tell Charmel, I told Charmel one time, I say, you can go if you want to, but just start digging. All right, just start digging, and she said, "Start digging what?" I say, "Both our graves." You know what I'm saying? Because, you try to leave if you want to, it's gonna be a problem. I'm serious. I ain't giving up half, no more. But nah, man.
Said once was enough.
Exactly. But nah, man, I'm serious, man. That right there, man, I'm serious. I don't think I could go through it, man. I don't think I could do it. My grandfather, man, he got married at like 86. All right, and divorced at 88. I'm serious, man. I swear to God, man. I swear to you, man. I am not lying, man. I'm serious, man. I have not lied to you, man. My grandfather, man. I was like, and it was crazy too. It was crazy. I remember this too, man. I remember I was a little big kid. I was a little kid. But I remember my mother and her sister and brothers being mad as hell. You know, they hated this woman. I can't remember this woman's name to save my life, man, but she just brought all kind of havoc and chaos to the family. She had to be 80, you know what I mean? She had to be at least 80, you know what I mean? So it's just nuts, man. It's a player, man. That's a player, you know what I mean? That's a player right there. That's the way they did it back then.
That's the way that he did it. But you know, Charlie came down and he wrestled for us. I know he and Shelton worked together against I believe it was the brothers Lockhart back in the day at Reality Wrestling. And you used I feel like you used to be a little hard on old Charlie Haas.
I mean, you know, man, I wasn't hard.
You used to rib him with the Haas pop thing.
You know what I mean? You know, Road Warrior pop, Haas pop. I used to mess with him all the time, man. I remember one time I was wrestling Charlie Haas in the locker room, you know, and we had squared off, and you know, everybody cleared that big circle around us and whatnot. And boom, we went at it. You know, Charlie was, you know, he former wrestler, and he was trying to take me down, and I hooked him by his shorts, and I wouldn't let him go, man. I wouldn't let no damn shorts go because I would have went flying if I would have let him go. And it looked like I had, you know, some leverage on him. Looked like I, you know, had stood him up, you know, and it was kind of like a stalemate. And the boys were like, ooh. Book ain't no joke, you know. Book and bro, I rode him for the longest. I think he even slipped at one point, and it looked like I took him down. And I think I stopped it right after that. All right, I'm done. You know what I mean? It was one of those moments, and man, he was so mad. Come on, let's go again. Come on, let's go again. Come on now. I'm like, nah, man, I'm done with you, bro. I'm done. You know, that this contest is over. It was one of them type of deals, you know, and I'm feeling myself too, you know, because I know I stole one on him. I know I, you know, made him win for the boys, and bro, trust me, he was hot to go, man. And next thing you know, I was like, yeah, I would not, you know, whatever, man, whatever. And we were overseas, and he called me out again. And if something told me not to, but I say, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and show this kid one more time. And it wasn't a fluke. And we locked up, bang, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, I don't know what the hell happened, man, but my legs came up over my head, and I freaking landed bang on the floor, and I still don't know what happened to this day. What the hell just happened here? You know what I mean? Man, he hit me with a move, man, and it was so sweet. And like I said, I still don't know what it was that got me, but I just know my legs left, and I was airborne, and I landed, you know, bang on my back, and I was like, "What? Okay, I'm done with this here." But you know, nah, man.
So he got you back.
He got me back, man. He got me back, but didn't nobody see it. You know what I mean? Didn't nobody see it, so he can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. And I ain't going. I'm telling you, you know, I'm confessing right now. But if anybody come ask me about it, I'll say, I just play it.
I try to let him live. Was that the only person you got into a shoot match with backstage?
You know, he was really the only person. Of course, I humbled the Wonder Kid back in the day. You know, I humbled him like he was a little baby.
Alex Wright?
Yeah, because he was a former wrestler before he got into wrestling overseas, of course. And you know how those overseas guys, they think they can do something, and then they come over here with the Americans. we humbled them, and that's what happened with Wonder Kid.
It's like every Olympic Games in basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you got the best Euro team. It's like, all right, wait, get a load of this.
No, man. Charlie Haas. One more Charlie Haas story. Charlie is the reason why Kevin Bernhardt is our director and producer and writer. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because Charlie Haas used to come down and work with us and train in my first school when Kevin was actually wrestling. And Charlie Haas hit Kevin so hard one day. He's like, he came to me and he goes, Book, I don't think I could do this. I think I need to, start producing and writing or something, Hey, man, he exit stage left after a few. And Kevin was, one of literally my best student, man. He was my best. He was my best old air performer back then. Best in ring performer. Best guy that knew the knowledge and the psychology of going out and performance. And I think Charlie Haas hit him so hard, man. One day he was out for a minute.
He said, "Oh hell no!"
Came back and confessed that, man. I think. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, But Kevin had a lot of heart, man, coming in the gym, back in the day and saying, man, this is something I want to do, being 108 pounds.
Well, you know what? He's come a long way. He's about at least 112 now, 115.
Exactly. No, seriously, man. Seriously. But man, we got a whole lot, man. But like I say, I woke up this morning. We're going to talk about it here in a second. It's crazy in the MMA world that the biggest name right now is Jake Paul. Of course, we discussed just last week Yoel Romero not being wanted. You know what I mean? He was like a one of those fugitives back in the cowboy days, but nobody wanted him. But Bellator say, let's reconsider, man. We see money on the table. Got to talk about that. So guys, stick around. Of course, also we got to talk about Jim Ross's comments about these young guys jumping off stuff. We got to talk about that. Stick around, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Comments made by Jim Ross. I was reading that just a couple of days, actually last week sometime when I first was reading it, and he was talking about, the art of the performance. Guys just going out there and throwing away certain moves. And Darby Allin actually, his name came up in an interview. Darby Allin was having. He responded, and Darby Allin said, I agree. which is, man, which is okay. I get it. I get that. Darby Allin, hearing someone like Jim Ross say something like that and say, if it's coming from Jim Ross, I get it. I understand it. At least I'm going to try to put it into a perspective where I'm going to try to understand it and try to figure out, okay, if I'm going to do it, why am I doing it and when should I do it? Okay, I can take that, and I appreciate the answer from someone like Darby Allin, opposed to go screw it, old man, you don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm serious, because that's just trying to give advice to the young guys constructively, and if you can't say it in public, anybody can say it behind closed doors. Right. Anybody, but to be able to say it in front of the world and know why you said it, and the only reason you are saying it is to help someone else further their career a little bit longer, more than anything. Longevity, man, is the key to success in this biz. Just longevity. And one bad move, your career could be over with like that. So if someone back in the day, I'm gonna tell you right now, there was a lot of guys used to, talk to me and peep game. And some of them, it went in one ear and out of the other ear. Cause I knew they didn't know what the hell they was talking about. But some of those guys, it went in, bro, and it stuck, man. And I made sure if I had a chance to talk to those guys again, I put myself in position for it to happen. So there again, I can appreciate that. And Jim is right. Guys jumping off, stuff, just for the hell of it, just for the this is awesome chant. Hey, it's cool. It's cool. I get it. But there again, it's about you not working for the fans, a lot of times, but the fans working for you. Or let's just say, put it like this: we work together to get what we want to get at the end of the night. Which there again, if you go and watch a good movie, man, you can't wait to, get up and clap. You watching a good play, on Broadway, you can't wait to say, man, bravo, encore, curtain call, guys, you can't wait for all of that. And the same thing there again falls under the umbrella in professional wrestling for me when I'm watching it. So guys, think about it when some, I wouldn't say some old guy, but some guy with a lot of wisdom, knowledge, that could, help you out. If it can help you, use it. If you don't think it can help you, kick it to the side.
Well, I think what Jim Ross said about the AEW, some of the members of the AEW roster, and I think he was really talking about wrestling as a whole, maybe more specifically the company that he's working for, but in general, he is right. He's right about 90% of the things that he said. Now, JR sometimes is cast off as, oh, here's an old-time guy who just doesn't understand that the business has evolved, right? And I can understand that from a certain perspective, right? There might be a music that I really love book that I play for you, like, hey, man, check out this guy. He's super dope. And then you listen to it and you think it's crap because it doesn't hit your ears the same way it hits mine. Same thing with the wrestling style. It might appeal to a certain segment of fans. It doesn't appeal to you, so therefore you don't think it is as great as your or what have you. So I understand that from the AEW perspective. But what Jim said more specifically is a move like a DDT should be the finish of the match, right? If you hit and if you think about it psychology-wise, if you hit somebody, right, you have their head beneath your arm, you roll back and you spike their head into a mat, that should probably end the match, right?
Yeah.
So we see slams in matches in the UFC, right? We see guillotine chokes in matches in the UFC. You would think a combination of the two would end a match. And he's saying it shouldn't be a setup move, right? And I agree with that. Those things, the one that really kills me is the super kick. Oh my gosh. When Shawn Michaels would hit the super kick, you knew it was over. 1, 2, 3. That's all. That's all you were going to see ever. Now when people hit a super kick, you got to hit them with like 12 of them, and then that just gets you to the next spot. You know what I mean? That's the thing I think that Jim Ross was talking about that is somewhat bothersome. And to echo your sentiments and your point, I'm going to listen to a guy like Jim Ross, who has been in positions of power in the professional wrestling industry, who has been probably in wrestling twice as long as I've been alive, maybe, and has been there around the guys like Austin, Rock, Angle, Triple H, all guys that he signed to WWE. He might know.
No, but you know what? I give those guys that you just said a whole lot of credit, man. But the guys that Jim Ross was around in Houston wrestling with Paul Bosch back in the day, those stars, the knowledge that that man has in his head for this business is undeniable. So if
potentially second to none.
Yeah, so anybody, look at him and just say, hey, he's some old guy that don't know, that's like saying, Vince Lombardi don't know coaching. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm serious. I mean,
Right.
that's just the way you got to look at it. I'm serious. So no, you got to give him props as far as that go. I mean, that's just real talk more than anything.
But there is an element, right, to what he said, because I heard that some of the AEW roster members weren't super thrilled with him saying it, at least in a public forum, right? And I think I understand somewhat where they're coming from because everything does evolve, right? Everything does evolve and it does change, and styles change all the time. You can see that in music, in movies, and pro wrestling is no different. You can see that in basketball, right? What do you hate more than anything right now in basketball. You hate to see Harden come down and pull up for a three without
A guy giving me the same thing over and over.
Right. But you have to also acknowledge, in the same vein that you don't like that, the 3-point ball is the way that the game is played now. Whether you like it or not, that's the way that the game has evolved too. You have to have a 3-point shooter. You have to have 3-point ability if you want to be an elite player. Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins, who are 7 feet tall, are pulling up from three, right? It's a part of the game. Although you might not like it, we do have to accept that it's what it's evolved to. So I think that in some regards, Jim Ross is 100% right, but I can also see from the AEW roster standpoint saying, look, we've evolved. It's not, look, a bear hug isn't a finish anymore.
I agree. I agree with being able to evolve, you know what I mean? But certain elements of the game are still there if you want to have a winning formula. Just like football, you know, you think you can win the championship without having a good defense, and that's something that's going to always be there. I don't care how long we play the game. If you ain't got a good defense, you know what I mean? I don't care how many points you put on the board, you know, it's going to be hard to, you know, sustain. That's just the way it is. You got to be able to be different. You know what? Let me give an analogy of today and what's, you know, just from a music perspective. How many times I said on the show that this ain't the baby?
A lot.
And I said that a lot. And now the baby is one of my favorite artists. You know what I mean? The baby then said, okay, you don't like that, try this here. You know what I mean? Okay, you don't like that, listen to this here. You know, and the baby say, okay, I get it. You don't like that. Check this here idea. And then I'm like, oh man, you got me. Hey bro, you switched it up on me. I'm feeling you, man. Okay, now. That's what I'm talking about. It's just something as simple as that right there is me listening to an artist like the baby and not really digging what he's giving me. And he say, okay, I got plenty more for you. Let's switch this up. I'm not just one dimensional. I'm not just coming out looking for this is awesome chant. I'm going to come out and, you know, make you feel okay, well, if you don't like it, I'm going to make you feel something. I'm going to move you in order to make you feel me before it's over at the end of the day. So my thing is this, man, that's what I'm talking about more than anything. If these young guys could learn how to, you know, change their levels. I talk about young people all the time as far as being able to change their levels, you know, being able sometimes to go down to someone's level, you know, to, you know, bring them up to your level, you know, opposed to, you know, just being one dimensional. If you go into a job interview, you can't act like you in the hood with your boys, you know what I mean? If you with your boys, you know what I mean? You might do things, you know, you may not do when you're in church, you know what I mean? So you got to know how to change your levels, man. And I think that's what the business is more than anything. I'm just using real terms and real talk in order to, you know, get into to one's head more than anything. But I think that's what it's all about more than anything as far as the business go. Trust me, guys. You know, look here. I'm a 2-time Hall of Famer. I mean, come on. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop! Welcome back inside the hall, y'all. What, man?
No, I wanted to ask you a question real quick. Because I know we're about to talk about Yoel Romero and stuff going on in the UFC and Jake. I don't even really want to talk about Jake Paul.
Yeah,
we must. Okay, but real quick, before run, like between runs, because you know you would say you go off and do your run at WWE, and then you went to TNA, and then you came back to WWE. Between those runs, because you had some break periods between them, how would you stay in shape? Did you change your workout regimen? Did you just stay on the grind as if you were still on TV and all that? Because the reason I bring it up, I just wanted to know if you saw this image we just talked about of James Harden yesterday. Did you see the image floating around of James Harden?
Well, no, the last time I saw James Harden, he was skinny. He was like really skinny.
Okay. So James, reported it was his first game back with the Rockets.
I was watching it last night. Yeah.
Preseason game.
Yeah.
And this was the picture that was floating around the internet. And James doesn't look too good right there.
He look like what the heck?
So this was last night. Now, I missed the game.
You look like Martin Lawrence.
Don't do my man Martin like that.
This latest bad boy. For life.
Martin did look thick in that last.
That's what he looks like right now.
I was just wondering how could he not stay in shape like that?
Nah, bro. I mean, it ain't. I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't hard. It ain't hard. That time off, I'm telling you, man. That time off for me when I left WWE and the TNA run, whatnot. I remember after I left WWE, I got in my Winnebago, and I went to California, and just hung out for like 3 months or so, and I remember I was just I thought I was in shape. I thought I was going to the gym. I thought I was working out. I thought I was putting in the work, and I remember I got a phone call from in Mexico. They wanted me to come over and do some shows, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I could, I'm not doing anything." You know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna be, when you go to Mexico, man, they pay you cash. You know what I mean? The big promoters. You know what I mean? I'm talking about gangster money. I'm just saying. So I said, yeah, I'm down with it. So I remember putting my trunks on, and my eyes got so big, and I could not believe how much weight I had put on. What happened was Charmel had got pregnant, and when Charmel got pregnant, I was eating everything, and I'm talking about, when I say everything, I mean everything. I was eating breakfast is so big, with everything. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was eating dinner so big with biscuits and everything. And she thought I was losing my mind. And I got up to like 253 pounds or something like that, and put those trunks on. And I literally almost had a heart attack. I lost it. I was like, good God, what the hell's going on? Excuse me, let me go back. That was actually before I went to California, in the Winnebago. I went to California in the Winnebago just so I can get away from everybody, and get on and put myself on the training diet. And Newport Beach, California, I was there for 3 months straight. The only thing I ate for 3 months straight was lean cuisine and a salad twice a day. And I would eat a bowl of cereal and coffee in the morning for breakfast, and I trained twice a day, and I got my weight back down, but I gained so much weight within that period of time, as Charmel being pregnant. Yeah, so
wow.
I can say it's not hard at all to put on weight, but it is so freaking hard to take it off. So hopefully the brother can get back in shape, because I don't think that's an undershirt.
And my man needs to get some Skims or so bodysuits, some Spanx or something right now. I'm only talking noise because I want him out of here now. But Book, you wanted to talk about? Do you want to talk about Yoel, or you want to talk about Jake?
No, man, I got to talk about Jake Paul, man. I woke up this morning and I was looking for some MMA news, and the first thing that came up was Jake Paul offering Conor McGregor, Jake Paul's team actually offering Conor McGregor $50 million to fight. And that's enormous amount of money,
It's a lot of money.
outrageous amount of money, to get in the ring and fight. Jake Paul is not a small guy. So it's a huge disadvantage for Conor McGregor as far as the height go and whatnot. If it's a MMA fight, I don't think Jake Paul would have a chance, in an MMA fight. I don't care how tall he is. But is that what we're going to be taking the fight game now towards just entertainers, YouTubers can call guys out. Of course, Nate Diaz immediately called out Jake Paul for calling out Conor McGregor, so I'm like, what the hell is going on here? He's, and me personally, I can understand Nate saying, man, let me get in on a piece of this money, man, because, 50 million, if I can just get a piece of that, I'm good. I ain't Conor McGregor, I'm good, It's
Right.
like Nate's still living off that Conor fight, those two fights. So right now, he's still, he's his money, dwindling. He's going down. He's looking for something. He's looking for another money grab. Of course, Floyd Mayweather already got the other side locked up. You know what I mean? And my question is, man, we talked about it. We explored just a few days ago as far as, is this where the fight game, is going? I tell you, one person is not happy with this at all, and that's Dana White.
No.
Dana White is the most upset guy in the industry right now as far as, people even thinking about, trying to start doing stuff like this. Do you think this is where it's going? Do you think it's a good idea? What's your thoughts?
Did you see his promo that he did, Jake Paul?
Paul?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it was very annoying to watch him sit there as if this guy's a real fighter. You know what I mean? Look, I liked him knocking out Nate Robinson. I thought it was funny. It was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I was a little afraid for Nate.
Promo after that fight.
No. He
Okay,
dropped a promo for Conor McGregor specifically, sitting on a Ferrari or some sort of exotic car, and he has the Irish flag draped around him, and he really looks like a grade A douche-a-rooney. You know what I mean? Who is more than annoying than I can even put into words. But to entertain this guy as if he's a real fighter is a joke. Him and his brother. You know what I mean? I get it. They have an audience. There's an appeal there. A lot of young kids who are in their 15, 16, 17, they want to beg mom and dad to buy the pay-per-view for them so they can see Logan Paul get his ass kicked by Floyd Mayweather. And Jake Paul, the same thing would happen with Conor. I don't care what the size difference is. Conor McGregor is a trained professional fighter who's done this at an elite level and won championships of the world. The same thing for Floyd Mayweather. They could do this in a back alley. They could do it in a boxing ring, an octagon, or put it in the 20-by-20 wrestling ring. The same result's always going to happen. Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, they're going to knock both of these guys out. I say, look, but if I'm Conor, pick that money up, my man. If they really got $50 million in the escrow, I don't give a damn what legacy I have or will have. That $50 million, that's a thick book. That's a thick amount of money to turn down. I don't want to entertain Jake or Logan Paul anymore. I'm already sick of it. I'm done with it. But for $50 million, if Conor wants to do it, I get that. I'm not going to fault the man for picking up that check. I don't think, though, that the industry should allow these guys to continue to be involved. If Jake Paul really wants to be taken seriously as a boxer, go fight a serious opponent. Go fight a guy who's an actual boxer. Let's start there. If you can fight a boxer, and I'm talking about a guy who's 0-50, right? Go get him off of one of these shows that I've done ring announcing for, right? Where I had a guy who was 0-50, right? Take that guy. That guy's going to beat Jake Paul.
Well, I look at it a little different, man. I look at it a little different. We're in a different era, man. We were just talking about evolution a second ago. We were just talking about evolving and things changing. We were just talking about the wrestling business and guys going out there doing these moves. And, it's not like it used to be. The super kick is not like it used to be. All right. We're just talking about that. Floyd Mayweather, the guy who broke away from Top Rank and start promoting, himself, and he became the biggest, I wouldn't say the biggest, but the most high paid boxer that ever lived, drew the most money out of all those guys. It's because he broke away and he started promoting himself. And we got guys today like Jake Paul, a young guy like Jake Paul and his brother that have created something on YouTube that people want to pay to see. People want to pay to see them. People want to support them. So if they can promote something that people want to come and see, hey man, more power to them. More power to him. I was just talking about this with Chris Van Vliet. I say, man, it's because I'm not a hater. It's because I'm not a hater. If you can make your money, make it. I said when Goldberg came in, and all of the boys that had put in, 10, 15 years, and Goldberg put it in 6 months, and next thing the music, he got the coolest music. Goldberg, he come out with, he got a streak that goes, I don't know, 100-0 or whatever, and then he's get the world title. He make more money than anybody. And I said, you know what? A lot of those guys was ticked off. You know what I was saying? Man, I wish I was him. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Shup. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. What's going on, man? What you up to over there, man?
I'm editing, man. I'm working on the fly over here. 200 shows. I got this down to a science now. Which, by the way, I'm still excited to get to these Hall of Fame segments. But I know that we still got to talk about Yoel Romero and a couple other things. But make sure everyone stays tuned in the chat. I know AEW Dynamite's on right now. Stay tuned in the chat so we can vote on these Hall of Fame segments.
Hey, man, let's get to him pretty quick here. But Yoel Romero, man, has signed with Bellator. I was just reading earlier. I got a ESPN message, and it was talking about Yoel Romero said he was blindsided totally by the UFC as far as him being released. He said he was training. He thought he had, 2, maybe 3 fights before he, perhaps could get another title shot. Next thing you know, boom, he's out. But being able to switch gears and there again, work off the fly, man, be able to, make a move and do it quick over to Bellator. My thing is this, man. I wondered, talking about it last week, Yoel Romero not being signed, not wanting, Bellator not wanting him to be a part of the organization. Pro Fight League not wanting to be a part of the organization. One championship, I wouldn't want to be a part of that organization. Bunch of killers over there, man.
Woo, brother.
I'm serious, you know what I mean? But I wondered about that in the fight game. A guy like Yoel Romero, of course, his last 3 fights in the UFC wasn't the greatest moments for his career or anything like that. But everybody, know what Yoel Romero brought to the table. We watched the guy, move up the ladder and almost cash in as far as getting the title. But the guy, he jumped in real late. Right now, 43 years old, but still got something left in the tank, especially for an organization like Bellator. And now talking about making his debut against a former UFC contender, Rumble Johnson. My thing is this. I want to see that fight. I want to see, but I don't know if I want to see it first. I don't know if I want to see that as his debut.
I think that you have to.
What we say again?
I think we have to make it his debut because
why would we have to make it his debut?
Because look, he got more fights behind him than he does in front of him, right?
Yeah.
And Yoel Romero's in his early 40s. We always say that 40 mark is right when you start to dwindle down and you start to come up, and put a bow on the career. He's 42 years old. He's going over to Bellator. If you have a money fight that late into your career and against a guy like Rumble Johnson, you have to do it first, because if he goes out there and loses, look, you can't ruin that fight, because if Rumble goes out there and somehow slips on a banana peel, loses, or Yoel loses in their first fight in Bellator, that fight doesn't mean anything anymore.
See, that's what
it means nothing.
It's a thing called, when you get in an airplane, the guys that fly it.
They're called pilots, those guys.
Exactly. All right. When I look at a guy like Yoel Romero, he needs a guy that's called a matchmaker. Okay. All right. You got to have certain people to do certain jobs. Is what I'm trying to say here. And if Bellator had the proper matchmaking for a Rumble Johnson, it's not going to be a problem him getting to his next fight. If they had the proper matchmaking, it's not going to be a problem for Yoel Romero.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Well,
it doesn't mean that it won't be.
Well, if it is, we shouldn't be here anyway. All right, we shouldn't be thinking about investing no money in him if he can't get past this fight that we fix him for him. Okay. So no, I'm serious. That's what I'm saying here. So when you got a promotion like this, and that's what irks me with the UFC. And their matchmaking sometime, Bellator matchmaking, this being their first fight. Well, excuse me. Yeah, both of them debut I mean, come on, you know how much we lose as far as eyes on the next pay-per-view and the next one. If we lose both of these guys the first fight, it makes they could knock each other out. You know what I mean? So no, I totally disagree with this being the debut for someone like Rumble Johnson or Yoel Romero. Both of these guys are too valuable to my promotion to actually put them out there like that. I got to take care of them. I got to protect them. We need to get to a certain place before. And the thing is, more importantly, we got to get past COVID first. We got to get to the fans being in the arena before we think about doing something like this. So I'm thinking about that kind of stuff, opposed to just throwing these guys to the wolves for a fight. Just my opinion. I could be wrong.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm glad that they're both in Bellator. I think that's a good move for both of them. And I'm looking forward to seeing their eventual fight, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth. I want to see that fight. That's a fight that I'm really intrigued at 205. I think it makes sense for both guys. So I'm excited to see that one. Book. I know it is this weekend is TLC. Do you mind if I get some quick thoughts from you about TLC real quick, and just kind of your overall predictions? Or not predictions. I know you don't do predictions for wrestling shows, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't do predictions, but I do thoughts and notes. Yeah.
Give me thoughts and notes. So the New Day is going to take on the Hurt Business. That's Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin for the tag team championships.
New Day against Shelton Benjamin and who else? And
Cedric Alexander.
You know what, man? I'm liking what Cedric Alexander is doing right now, man. I mean, he's coming up. I'm beginning to feel him just a little bit. So yeah, man. I can see I can see the Hurt Business doing something. It's their time.
Okay, I like it. The returning Carmella, who's been being built up with a series of vignettes. She has a very interesting new entrance. She's going to be taking on Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Who you got in that one, or what do you think of that one?
Carmella, she got to show me something, man. She got to show me something, and a lot of loud talking sometimes can get you only so far. I need to be able to see the performance in the ring before I buy into Carmella and everything that she has brought back to the table. I know what Sasha Banks can do. I know Sasha going to go out and work, you know, if she got a good dance partner. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see exactly you know, but I can't say exactly what's gonna happen. Glad to see her back though.
Yeah, TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns taking on Kevin Owens. This should be a good one.
No, man, I'm glad to see Kevin Owens get to rub, you know, because one thing we're gonna see in this match right here is, you know, the moniker there, it stands out. Fight Owens, fight. I'm serious. These two guys, we're not gonna have to think about two guys going out there, you know, and replicating the form of combat in its purest form. Trust me, you're not gonna have to worry about that. These two guys are gonna be able to go out there and do that with no problem. So I'm so looking forward to that matchup, perhaps more than any match on the card.
I agree with you. I think it's probably going to be match of the night if I had to forecast that out. You have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending those tag team championships versus Asuka and a mystery opponent. It looked like it was going to be Lana. Then something happened with Lana on Raw. No Lana anymore. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm going to wait to see that match right there because I'm a little disappointed that I'm not going to see Lana in that match. You know, because you might think I'm messing around here, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, one of my best characters on the show right now is Lana, man. She has definitely transformed her game. She's going out there and literally figuring this thing out on the job training. So I'm giving Lana a whole lot of props as far as what she's been doing lately. And just keep working on your game, keep working on your craft, and hopefully this will be one of them Stagger Lee type deals, you know, or you know she come back with a mask on or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. She's El Gran Luchador.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I would like that actually. Fiend Bray Wyatt with Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton.
That's another one, man. You know, I'm gonna have to sit there and watch it and see how it play out because you got two guys that, you know, have played, you know, the one side for so long, you know, where Randy's gonna fit in, you know, taking on the Fiend, you know, how's the you know, RKO gonna come into effect when you can't kill, when you can't kill Jason. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? You get Friday the 13th. What are you thinking here, kid? You know, so get in the running car. Don't hide behind the chainsaw. But no, it's one of those type of deals, man. I don't know what's gonna happen in this match, but very intriguing.
And last but not least, before we go to break, the main event, tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Championship. You have the champion, Drew McIntyre, defending against AJ Styles.
This is a match that I'm anticipating as well. AJ Styles can work with anybody, man, and but he's gonna have his work cut out for him right now because it is Drew McIntyre's time. You know, and that's the one thing, you know, about the business, man. You have your time, you have your run. But like Randy Orton, we've seen over his, you know, years in the business, you always can slip right back in there at any moment's notice. That's what AJ Styles is all about. So we're gonna see what happened in that match as well. Stick around, guys. We're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Y'all, we're in the final stretch here for the day, but Brad, we got a super chat, man. Let's go ahead and read that super chat, dog.
Yeah, let me get that up. We had a couple that I want to get to actually real quick. First was from Travis Berg saying, I got a lot of love in Long Island, New York for Booker T. I personally enjoy G.I. Bro. So
G.I. Bro, man. America's greatest hero. That's why I say that, on the side. I didn't put that in print or anything like that. But yeah, man, I tell you, man, my GI Bro days was fun times for me, man. Especially in WCW when I finally got a chance to bring it to the big screen. And I remember when they let me do it. I remember DDP thought I was crazy. I was in the bathroom, I was putting my paint on, and DDP come through, and he looks at me and he goes, "Man, what are you doing?" And I go, "Having some fun, bro." He walked out shaking his head, and he tells that story all the time because that's what I did, man. I had a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun, and to bring GI Bro to the big screen was something really, really cool.
Let's get to Aaron C. Aaron C. with $4 super chat. Can audiences or referee really switch up a match? I think what he's referring to here is, could you go into the match with one outcome planned, and then a referee or audience shift?
That ain't happening. But the audience, I always felt like the audience determined whether a guy was going to get over or not. And the thing is, just say for instance, go back to a guy like Zack Ryder, Long Island IZ. When Zack Ryder first came in, the crowd was really, really on his side. Things wasn't going Zack Ryder's way, but the fans never wavered. I always feel like if Zack Ryder would have switched up a little bit, the things would have changed and switched in his favor from the company's perspective, but that just didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, interesting there. So, yeah, I mean, audience can definitely determine if you get over or not, but they're not going to change the outcome of a match, middle of a match.
Hell,
not going to happen.
Not
going to happen. But come hell or high water, that finish is going off unless the referee messes up. Unless the referee messes up. Remember, it was a couple of years ago on SmackDown where I think the Truth accidentally won the United States Championship because they got the finish mixed up or something like that. So it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
but 200 episodes of the Hall of Fame, 400 episodes overall of us doing this show together. And it's time to officially induct 3 things into this show's Hall of Fame. You've been inducted twice into the WWE Hall of Fame, Cauliflower Alley Club Hall of Fame, I do believe as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking hopefully next year the International Hall of Fame will perhaps be calling.
Well, you never know, but we have a Hall of Fame on this show, and we have 3 categories, one of which from one of each is going to go into our Hall of Fame. The first one is a Hall of Fame phrase. Booker T, you've been a man of catchphrases and taglines and signature sayings for 30 years on television. Whether it is, "Can you dig it, sucker?" "Tell me you did not just say that." The list goes on and on and on. You've also coined several phrases on this very show, and we want the audience to weigh in on which one we think should go into the Hall of Fame. And Booker, I want you to make this assessment as well. Here are the 4 nominees for the Hall of Fame. And here we go. Hall of Fame phrases are on the screen. Long green ducats is one of my personal favorites. That ain't the baby is one as well. Shup. And then you better have that red thing on, girl. So one of these needs to go into the Hall of Fame. These are our Hall of Fame phrases. Booker, out of the ones on the screen, which one are you leaning toward?
Well, I mean, I gotta lean there, having that red thing on, girl. Because seriously, because Shoop is high on the list, but it just started. You know what I mean? It's gotta put a little bit of time in. So, having that red thing on, Charmel know what that's all about, man. All of you brothers out there, it's the holiday season, man. The holiday season, and the perfect color is red. You know what I mean? Call Victoria's Secrets right now. Get your order in, man. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, man, they got them being delivered right now. I mean, before you order it, it's at the house. You know what I mean? It's on the red thing.
The red thing is my personal favorite. I like Shump. I say long green ducats maybe once a day, but I think that the red thing on girl should be the one. And I'm seeing some votes for the red thing on girl, red thing on girl, red thing on girl. So it looks like red thing is going to go in the Hall of Fame.
That was the one, man.
That was a layup. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit more difficult on you. During the series of this show, we've had great interviews. We've had some really solid interviews on this show from the most notable names in sports and entertainment and pro wrestling. I've narrowed it down to 6 options that are somewhat more recent so that we can, recall the contents of the interview. Here are the 6 nominees for the Hall of Fame interview. You have, of course, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, who came on and really, as they used to say back in the day, he did an hour Broadway working with a broomstick. Ric Flair kind of carried that entire interview. There was very few questions asked by either one of us, but we went an hour with the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. Also, we were the first interview that the Hall of Fame and returning WWE superstar Edge gave after he tore his tricep in the greatest wrestling match ever. Chris Jericho was the inaugural guest here on the Hall of Fame. Goldberg was the first. We were the first show that he talked to after his incident with The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia. Of course, we were the show that made the BMF. Jorge Masvidal came on this show right before, literally the day before, he went out to go fight Nate Diaz for that BMF championship. And of course, Hollywood Hulk Hogan had a real, honest talk for about an hour with you on air about a variety of issues, dealing with race and his career. So those are our Hall of Fame interview nominees. Booker T, which one out of those 6 are you kind of leaning toward?
Man, a lot of great interviews there, man. Of course, great friend of mine, Ric Flair. I mean, all those guys are good friends of mine, but of course, the Hogan one, that was good. But I'm leaning towards Jorge Masvidal, man.
Oh, really?
I think we should put Jorge Masvidal inside the Hall of Fame because Jorge Masvidal not only went out and performed at a very, very high level, but he was gracious enough to come on the show. All right, he came on the show, and without any prep or anything like that, Jorge Masvidal did not curse one time. The whole show. They let me know how much he respected me, as well as the show, the Hall of Fame, and what we do here. And the interview, it was a great interview. We got a chance to get some real raw, real raw story from Jorge Masvidal that people don't get a chance to hear because people are always looking for a soundbite. People are always looking for, some negative, you know what I mean? They're being negative, you're being negative. It's one of those type of deals, you know what I mean? So
we're going to put Jorge in?
I say put Jorge in the Hall of Fame, man. The rest of them suckers, they're already in the Hall.
All right, and then last but not least, this is the one that I've been waiting for, and this is really what has made this show, Booker T. Throughout your career in professional wrestling, you've had some very memorable opponents and dance partners and rivalries. We just saw really 4 or 5 of them on the screen, whether that be Edge at WrestleMania, Chris Jericho. You've had your run-ins with Bill Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H. The list goes on and on and on. But we've started and had several feuds on this show over the years. And here are the 6 nominees for Feud, Hall of Fame feud. And here they are. You have Corey Graves, really the feud that started it all. Matt Riddle, a recent feud that you two have continued to go back and forth on. You have Daniel Cormier and Ariel Helwani, which has really sparked in recent weeks.
Are you putting those together?
They're one. They're a tag team. That really sparked a lot of controversy in recent weeks. You have Macaulay Culkin, which y'all had a real fun back and forth with. And then last but not least, our guy, Freddie Prinze Jr. You like the picture I used him, didn't you?
Why you didn't use a recent picture, man?
Look, I wanted to use one where people can recognize who it is.
Why you go and bring this whole photo of this guy, Home Alone guy? This is not the guy right now, man. Come
and
on.
then, of course, Freddie Prinze Jr., who you've gone back and forth with for quite some time over cooking and other things. Who's the Hall of Fame feud, Booker T?
Man, we got a minute left. Freddie Prinze, I ain't finna fight nobody over no cooking or anything like that. You know what I mean? Corey Graves, me and him, actually, me and Corey, we never had beef. It was just, we're just having fun. The rest of those guys on there, Matt Riddle, Matt Riddle, I ran into Matt Riddle after the show. we were both leaving the show last pay-per-view together. And I go, hey, bro, where's your boots? I swear to God, I did. He looks at me, he starts laughing. We walked it off.
And then Macaulay Culkin.
No, I mean, Macaulay Culkin, I'm not going to even, Macaulay, that was just all fun, man. But the one guy, man, he should have had a target on him, and I'm not going to even put Daniel Cormier in there. Daniel Cormier, I'm kicking to the side. But Ariel Hawani. And I call him, like I said, I call him Ariel because his daddy wanted a girl. You know what I'm saying? But that's the one guy, man. Put him in the Hall of Fame, man. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
All right. Well, there you go. There are 3 inductees into the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame: Interview, Feud, and Catchphrase. That red thing on Jorge Masvidal and Ariel Hawani. There you go.
Ariel. Hey, bro, I appreciate you, man. As always, man, all the listeners, man, we appreciate you guys for being a part of the Hall of Fame as well, man. I will be back now, same place, same time next week. But right now, we're up out of here. Shoop!